accounting or hiring or customer service or deadlines and chores, and you're like, I know all this, and all of a sudden, you lose focus. All of a sudden, before long, you're spending more hours in your business rather than working on your business. Here's some more stats that are pretty crazy. Did you know that 28% of the average work week is lost to email? Think about that. 11 hours immediately gone just on email, right? Most small business owners work 60 to 80 hours a week and still feel that they are behind, right? And 70% admit they spend more effort maintaining the business than growing it. Those are the stats that are holding people back from working on the creative. I mean, what happens? What is the outcome of that? Creativity fades, momentum stalls, and the business or the dream that started, unfortunately, begins to flatline. And that's where the real cost comes into play. Stagnation, burnout, and missed opportunities. Businesses don't fail because their founders lack skill. They fail because they lose space to think, create, and lead. That's why we're here. It's one of the biggest reasons to help you reclaim that resource, that creativity, that innovation, to start, to launch, to scale, to protect, to offload the repetitive, the draining, the mind-numbing tasks that keep you stuck. So you can focus on the few moves that actually multiply your growth, your impact, and your success. So many times I feel blessed that I have family. My wife's here, my oldest daughter's here, and sometimes she'll say, Dad, you're so good at a lot of things. I'm like, no, not really, hon. I just found a way to be really good at a few that move the needle, and I'm able to offload the things I'm not good at. And AI allows us to do that now more than ever. And now, I just want to share. A lot of people can make promises about what we're going to share, but proof matters. Wouldn't you agree proof matters? I just want to share that Tony and I, we've done this before. Taken overwhelming things that are hard and decoded them, found the patterns, and then made it simple for people to achieve. In real estate, I simplified the path because that's where I started in real estate. So I showed regular people how to build wealth and buy their first house and was blessed to touch the lives of millions of people. In finance, Tony decoded billionaires and wrote Money Master the Game. It impacted the world. In health, Tony worked with over 100 of the world's top medical pioneers and created LifeForce. And that still has a ripple effect around the world. We created Mastermind.com, which is one of the largest content platforms for creators. And now our obsession is to go learn from the best and help you do the same thing with our AI. And I'm going to say this really clear. Our gift is not being the tech guys. Our gift is pattern recognition, simplifying what's complex. So before we did this event, we sent out a little survey of what is the main reasons that you're being held back from utilizing AI. And the three big reasons I think will shock you. But I'm going to go over them really quick because you might fit one of these. And if it's you, put me in the chat or raise your hand. Here's the crazy one. Number one, I don't have enough time to learn it. Isn't that ironic? The number one reason people don't start using AI is the same reason they need it the most. We tell ourselves we'll get to it when things slow down. But if we're honest, when was the last time life actually slowed down? For me, for most people, I think the answer is never, right? Every day, without realizing, we waste hours on things that keep us busy instead of productive. It's not that we don't care, it's that we're trapped. We're so busy doing what seems urgent that we never really get to the important things. But here's the truth. You can't scale chaos. If you're always reacting, you'll never get ahead. AI used properly gives you that margin back. It gives you that breathing room. It's like hiring a silent partner who can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the stuff that drains you. So you can finally focus on what lights you up. The high value moves that actually grow your business or your career. People don't fail because they're not smart or they're not driven or they're not hungry. They fail because they run out of time. And that's why we're so obsessed on helping you find time. Let's bring up Galen. Galen was a coach drowning in details. She was hesitant. We had the chance to talk to her. She was very resistant at first. She spent hours digging through notes, trying to remember what her clients needed and where she left off with them. Then she finally brought AI into her process. It now listens, it organizes, it summarizes, it drafts, it does follow-ups automatically. She saved 9 hours a week just on this one application, and she said it's running 5 times more powerful. Those are the types of things that make you and allow you to buy time back. And again, some of you are going, yeah, I already do that. Some of you are like, how does that work? I promise we'll bring all of this together. We'll land the plane together over these couple of days. The second reason people say that they're not using it wisely is because they're not sure how to create leverage. Now, let's be real. Freeing up hours is great, but freedom without direction turns into distraction. If you don't know how to use time, then you just fill it with the same old stuff. That's where leverage comes in. We talked about the escalator, the difference between effort and impact. Leverage is how one person with clarity and the right system can outperform an entire team, right? Here's the truth. Most people were never taught how to multiply their outputs. Most of us are taught work hard, work harder. Working harder in this world is not enough. AI flips that equation on its head. It's the ultimate multiplier. It's like the moment in history the farmer got the tractor for the first time. I can do 50 times more output. When you learn how to combine your unique human skills, your creativity, your judgment, your empathy that'll never get replaced with AI speed, memory, and precision, you don't just get more done. You create exponential results with less stress. Let's look at Austin. He's a small business owner trying to do it all. I asked about the solopreneurs. A lot of people raise their hand. He's running his commercial lighting company. Endless hours creating quotes, contracts, proposals, even paying lawyers and consultants to keep up. Then he built his AI Copilot. It handles his contract. It handles his pricing. Handles and creates his presentations. Austin saved thousands in overhead, countless hours every week. And now he's leveraged because he's going after bigger deals more confidently. I know these might be really simple examples, but this is what we want to anchor in before we get to our first guest, before we start going down this rabbit hole of training. I want to anchor this in to show you that AI is moving fast. I know it, and that was number 3. Number 3 was, it's moving so fast, I'm overwhelmed. If it's moving really fast for you, you feel a little overwhelmed, say yes, or put yes in the chat, or raise your hand, right? You're not alone. It's okay. What's cool about being, and we can always flash. Maybe on the back screen you can see all the amazing people here for a minute, but this is all of you from around the world, right? And I get to see you. You can go back to the other background. We're trying to keep it cool. But what's cool is I get to see you and how many raise hands and realize you're not alone. And plus I see your chat on YouTube. Listen, I've had people say, Dean, I've watched so many videos on YouTube, still can't figure it out. Or I know I'm using it every day, but there should be more. Listen, it's totally normal, and it's exactly why most people hesitate. But here's the thing you got to hear, and hear me on this. Hesitation is the fastest path to being left behind. Every technology, every revolution around technology feels overwhelming at first. Every bit of it. I'm sure electricity, the phone, the internet, right? The same people that were once intimidated, though, they're the ones, once they learn it, start to thrive. Because you don't need to be a coder. You don't need to chase every shiny tool. You just need a playbook, a plan that makes it simple, step by step, and actionable. Because overwhelm isn't a lack of capacity. Hear me on this one. It's just a lack of clarity. And once you have clarity, confidence follows. That's what this event is about. Cutting through the noise and getting clarity. Let's meet Bianca. She's an executive assistant, who was extremely skeptical about AI. She just wasn't techie. And overwhelmed trying to balance a day job, her life, and her dream of owning a horse rescue farm, or ranch, I should say. Then she followed the same process you'll be learning over these next couple days, strategically entered her thoughts, her goals, her constraints, everything into ChatGPT in the right sequence, and everything clicked. What started as hesitation turned into clarity. She was able to get 20 hours a week back, and it's really cool that she bought her first horse ranch in October because of that extra time. Yeah, we should give her a heck yes or hell yes for that one. So if we step back for a moment, what's really happening here? It's not that people don't see the opportunity. You feel it. You know AI, for sure, is the biggest shift in our lifetime, probably the biggest shift ever. But most are still stuck with those same three things. I don't have the time to learn it. I don't know how to leverage that time or what to even do with it. And I'm in total tool overwhelm. And we've seen this pattern before in every industry, in every economic cycle. But here's the cool thing. The people who rise aren't the ones who just hustle or just learn faster. They're the ones that find a framework, a simple, repeatable system that multiplies what you already do and deletes the stuff you don't want to. And we're not only going to show you how to overcome those challenges, we're going to help you with that plan. Now, before I share these next 4 pieces that are going to be the through line, as we call it, I'm pulling back the curtain of an event like this. We have a through line. One of our through lines is follow patterns. One of our through lines is this is just new technology. Another through line, don't chase every tool because it's going to overwhelm you. There's a foundational process that will get you all the time back and leverage, I promise you. That's a through line. Another one is these 4 strategies I'm going to share with you, and you're going to see it in all the speakers. But before that, I want to play a quick 90-second video, and we should call these videos, the future's not coming, the future's already here. A little glimpse of what's possible. Play that quick video.
What's up, everybody? So Dean and Tony probably told you this video is about AI, but the truth is, it's actually about tennis. See, I'm what you call a lifestyle entrepreneur, which means I work as little as humanly possible because I got a 9-year-old daughter and a really bad tennis addiction, and I'm not very good. So to me, AI isn't just about working smarter, it's about working smarter so I can play another match. The problem is, tennis can get kind of expensive. So I needed to make more money, and the American market is just a little bit saturated. だから、英語だけで販売するのではなく、日本語でも販売してみようと思ったんです。¿Por qué no vender en español? Oder vielleicht sogar Deutsch. Sehen Sie, das war ein Klon von mir, der in verschiedenen Sprachen spricht, damit ich überall auf der Welt verkaufen kann. Not only can tennis be expensive, but it can also take forever, especially when I play with my daughter, to the point where, honestly, I don't even want to make sales calls. So I don't. Instead, I use AI to schedule, transfer, and close deals for me. Sounds like this.
So imagine this. You've got a business where AI like me is working for you 24/7. What would that kind of freedom feel like for you?
It would feel amazing. I thought this was more of like a trial thing, but it really feels like you're trying to sell me something.
Ah, I hear you. And you're right. This is a demo to show you what's possible. But here's the thing. I'm here to help you see if this is something that could actually change your life. If it's not for you, no pressure. But if it is, wouldn't it be worth exploring?
It would.
And my favorite part about tennis is posting my wins on social media. And on the rare occasion I lose, I simply use AI to make content that makes it look like I won anyways, like this. Who in the audience thinks they can beat me? I need to warm up. So long story short, I use AI for everything that can give me more time to hang with my daughter and play tennis, even things like writing the script for this video. Aim, set, match.
Give it up for Billy. So Billy Jean's been a friend for a long time, and he has totally embraced AI to fuel his lifestyle. He truly loves time with his daughter, he's a lifestyle entrepreneur, and AI has worked that so well in his life. And when I show you those, some of you, again, I can do that. Some of you, maybe I can do that. Some of you, I can never do that. I promise all of you will get to things that will work in your business if we approach this right. So now let's dive into the 4 levers of accelerated success. This is the same formula we've seen take confusion and make it clarity, with chaos into order and ideas that are a little scrambled into a scalable, predictable growth model. Because when you master these 4, AI stops being overwhelming, and it starts becoming our greatest ally, your ultimate AI advantage. If you master these, you stop chasing time, and you start compounding it. And don't worry, this is exactly what we're going to teach you over the next couple of days. Again, we obsessed over this for 6 months to start in a way to bring you through a journey from strategy to tactics. So stay with us. Don't miss a second. I promise. By the time you leave, you'll go from AI confused, if you are, to AI confident. But let's get to these 4 levers. The first one is activate. Before AI can work for you, it has to know you. You see, most people open ChatGPT and treat it like a search bar, like a fancy Google, quick questions, maybe some random prompts of someone that told you you should use this prompt. But the true power starts when you train it to think like you speak, think like you do, and to understand your goals, your business, your personality, your constraints. That's activation. It's where AI becomes more than a tool. It becomes your thought partner, your sparring partner, your second brain that works just a little more than you. Once it knows you, it starts anticipating you, and that's when everything changes. This isn't simply about automation, at least not yet. That's coming. This is about alignment. You're not replacing yourself. You gotta look at it. We're expanding ourselves, okay? Number 2 is acceleration. And this is the lever that separates good from great. You see, most successful people don't just work harder, they remove hesitation. Has anybody ever hesitated in your life and you feel like you missed an opportunity? Or is it just me? Say yes or put your hand up, right? When you use acceleration with AI, you get to make faster decisions because you have more clarity. AI gives you that clarity. It lets you analyze, compare, organize, test, and simulate faster than probably any team on earth. Imagine having an advisor who never sleeps, who never gets tired, and gives you data and perspective instantly. That's acceleration. Because when you can think faster, decide faster, and act faster, you create momentum that becomes unstoppable. Okay, next. Once you are accelerated, now it's time to amplify. This is the third one. This is the third lever. Amplification means taking one spark, one idea, one draft, one video, and turning it into 10, 50, and 100 outputs, and still sounding like you. Think about this. In the past, creating it took time. It took hours of brainstorming, journaling, outlining, editing, polishing. Now your AI, set up properly, can expand your vision faster than you could write or type. This is how you turn one idea into a full campaign, one podcast into a month of content, one conversation into a business plan, or a proven strategy to scale the business you already have. Amplification isn't about doing more work. It's about letting your ideas travel further without you burning out in the process. And the last one, and the final lever, the one that compounds all the rest, is augment. You should write that down, augment. Augmentation means using AI to extend your capabilities, to multiply your effectiveness without multiplying your cost, your stress, or the size of your team. It's like hiring 5 people overnight, a researcher, a strategist, a copywriter, a data analyst, and maybe even a project manager, all rolled into one digital partner. It doesn't just do the work. It helps you think better, act faster, and create at a level that you never thought possible. That's augmentation. That's the leverage. That's how you scale freedom. That's how you scale impact. And that's how you amplify your results. So as I share with you these 4 levels, activate, amplify, accelerate, and augment, I want you to know something. These aren't just theories Tony and I made up because we're sitting in a room and had nothing to do. These are the exact strategies we discovered after working with the world's top minds in AI, the innovators, the founders, the researchers, the entrepreneurs, from billionaires to people who sold their first business, and everybody in between. People who've built billion-dollar companies, but also those that are using AI to launch a new company, buy back their time, amplify their impact, and live into the person they're meant to be. And here's the best part. Some of our favorites out of all the interviews, and they were all great, I mean that, and some of you were on, but the ones that aligned with us, that could take really complicated things and share it in a way where everybody goes, I get it, are here today, are here tomorrow, and here the next day. And here's what I love the most. They didn't get paid to be here. They're not here for fame. They're not here, obviously, for the money. Every single one of them said yes to being here because they believe what Tony and I believe, that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to help real people like all of us thrive in this new AI world. During this event, you're going to see exactly how each of them embodies those 4 levers. So I'm glad you were writing them down, and then you'll see how you can implement them into your life. And like I said, whether you're brand new, you're dabbling, or already using AI every day, you're going to see yourself in their stories. You'll see what's possible for your business, for your career, for your creativity, and for your life when you stop dabbling and start building your own AI advantage. And by the end, you'll have a clear path of what to do next, I assure you. These next few days, you're going to watch yourself move, I said this earlier, from AI curious, maybe AI confused, to AI confident. From, I wonder if I could do this, to, heck yes, I'd be crazy not to do this. So here's what I'm going to suggest. Buckle in. Take notes. Don't miss a moment. Open up your mind. If it's below you, we'll catch up. If it's past you, we'll get you there. Because what you're about to hear could truly change the trajectory of the next decade. And with that, I'm so excited that we get to our first guest. Zach Cass has become such a vital voice in the AI conversation. What I love about Zach, he's not here to drown you with tech jargon. He makes this human. He makes something massive and intimidating, takes something massive and intimidating, and breaks it down into actual steps to help you grow, to help you lead, help you make more impact without losing the heart and soul of what you do. He's advised leaders, organizations, even governments on navigating in this new world of AI intelligence. But he's just as committed to the everyday person using this. And believe me, I said when I interviewed him, I knew he had to be one of the people here. Zach's working with some of the top universities on the future of work, and he's also using AI to help protect the planet through conservation efforts. His new book, The Next Renaissance, drops in 2026, and his mission is clear: to prove hope and reason can absolutely coexist in the AI revolution. Let's play a quick sizzle reel so you can see a little more about Zach, about 30 seconds long, and then we'll bring him out to share.
I've spent 16 years on the front lines of artificial intelligence. I've seen what happens when machines begin to reason and when code starts to surprise its own creators. I helped build OpenAI when it was just an idea, a handful of people who believed that if we got this right, it could change everything. Since then, I've watched AI move from research papers to boardrooms, from prototypes to policies, and from curiosity to necessity. I've advised Fortune 5,000 leaders and governments who all ask the same question in different ways. How do we lead in a world where intelligence is no longer scarce? And after all these years, I've come to believe something simple, but powerful. Artificial intelligence is not the story. Humanity is. AI is the brush. Human potential is the masterpiece. What we choose to create now, how we lead, what we value, what we build, will define the next chapter of human history. Welcome to the next Renaissance.
Everybody, let's give it up for Mark. For Zach. Thank you.
All right. Well, Dean, thanks a lot. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for having me. It's really good to. It's really special to be here. I will tell you. Listen, my mission is pretty clear to me at this point in life. It's to prove that hope and reason should coexist. And I'll admit that I was born with a rosy disposition. I came out of the womb believing that today was the best day ever to be born, and tomorrow would be too. And then I lived a life that had evidence to prove it. And today I'll share with you quickly my vision for the future and how I think that you can thrive in it. Now, before I start with where we're going, I have to start with where we are. And where we are is an interesting question with respect to AI, precisely because it never was. If you'd asked most AI researchers what AI could do for most of AI's history, they would have said, well, never mind what it can do today, let's talk about what it can do eventually. And that changed in 2017 when 8 Google researchers wrote a paper, Attention is All You Need, a seminal paper that catapulted the industry forward because it proposed that we should be building models that think in parallel versus straight lines, much like the human brain. That led to incredible advancements in the technology. And then in June 2024, OpenAI's GPT-4o produced a model that could solve the Math Olympiad, a test to measure whether humans were good at pure mathematics. And it was at that point I realized I couldn't just show AI anymore. It was actually causing myopia. It didn't do enough. So now when someone says, what is AI trying to do? I simply say this. We are building machines that possess human intellectual equivalence and superiority. This is how I best know to describe to anyone, be it my mom or Jamie Dimon, what modern AI is trying to do. Now, this gives you a frame of reference for what has come and what will come. What's more impressive, though, is how quickly we are doing it. In case you didn't notice, we went from building machines that could measure sentiment in a tweet in 2019 to machines that conduct multi-step, multi-environment research today. And that is breathtaking. That is a remarkable advancement in the quality of the machines. And somehow, more important than this is this. As good as the machines are getting, it is not even the most important trend in AI right now. It is, in fact, how cheap they are getting. And of all the trends maybe in science that I care about, it is the precipitous decline in what we call inference cost, the cost to run the models that I am most excited about. And I care about this for a lot of reasons. The first is it is the trend that suggests AI is actually going to be a utility, that the research itself will not be owned by a select few, the way we observe pharma. And if you're willing to believe that AI is in fact following a path of utility, then what you also come to appreciate is that any time in human history we have observed the utilitization or the commoditization of a critical resource, there has been an incredible economic outcome. This happened with water and foodstuffs and electricity and the internet. And in those cases, it took thousands of years or hundreds of years or at least dozens of years. And in AI's case, it's taken 5 years for a very, very scarce resource to become very cheap. GPT-4 went from $60 per million tokens to $1.30. And that gives me, as much as anything else, hope that we are building something incredible for everyone to participate in. Now, given that we're building exceptionally smart machines, given that they're getting very cheap, then I can answer, where are we going? And I will start by saying I don't expect anyone here to believe everything I'm about to say. It's okay. I'm not saying this because it's scriptural. I'm saying this because it's directional. I've spent a lot of time staring at this problem in an academic sense and in a practical sense. I've also learned that I'm willing to argue these ideas a lot longer than you are. I have missed flights to defend myself. But that being said, I promise you that it is okay to disagree with me. I'm presenting these ideas to give you a chance to consider a future that maybe you haven't yet. And I will start with what I think is fairly simple, and maybe I can convince you of the integration phases of the AI revolution. How's this technology actually going to arrive in our lives? Well, the first phase is the one we're in today. Enhanced applications. You know this very well. This is, as best described, ChatGPT. It is the first and arguably most important AI-enhanced application ever. It reminds us that the technology is not sufficient. You must build the application that matters. And I'm reminded of this because we built GPT 3.5, the technology that powered the application, in June 2022. Anyone could have built ChatGPT between our launch date, November 30th, 2022, and that date. We did. And we reminded the world that you must build technology in ways that people understand and want to use it. And since then, we've seen this incredible Cambrian event. Tons of applications have flooded the market. Many of them you use today. Now, the cool thing about enhanced applications is that it doesn't require we change behavior very much, and you're going to learn from much smarter people than me today about how to use them. But it doesn't take full advantage of everything AI can do, not even close. And that introduces the next phase, autonomous agents. Autonomous agents have been made so much about over the last 6 months, a year, and I will remind everyone first what they are. Station identification. Agentic AI is machines that can execute tasks and goals on our behalf across browser, across application, and across data lake. It is, in other words, a Siri that works. That's the best way I know to describe it to anyone. And agentic AI is really exciting because it can execute tasks and goals on our behalf, which means that we can actually start offering more tasks and more goals to a machine that can do it faster for us. Agentic AI is very clearly here. Then the question is simply, how much do we afford to it? This presents one of my theories, the idea of the automation boundary. In a world where you could automate everything, where would you stop? Is a question that I ask many people. And it's a question that you're going to have to answer at some point soon, both on a business basis and a personal basis. What do you want to automate and what do you want to keep on your own? Now, agentic AI is going to do a lot of things. One of them is it's going to rewire the internet. The fabric of the internet is actually not going to be designed principally not for our eyes, the HTML internet, but eventually for our agents, which will lead to what I call a TXT or XML internet, a true information highway. And when that happens, we will start to see and appreciate what I can best describe as a natural language operating system. And the natural language operating system, in my opinion, will be marked by two major changes. The first, we will go from carrying our devices, laptops and cell phones, to wearing them. Watches, glasses, wallets, and rings. Now, I can bet you a lot that this is coming. When it arrives will depend on what we call the automation boundary or the societal threshold. And the reason I know it's coming is because every hardware company is working on this, and now lots of software companies are too. A very interesting piece of public domain, but that is not well known, is that Johnny Ive, the designer of the iPhone, who now works at OpenAI, is building OpenAI's first hardware product. And his intention is to build one that doesn't have a display. Johnny Ive believes that the future of personal computing will not require that someone stare at a screen. And that marks the other major change of the natural language operating system, which is that I think we will move from a world where you must learn how a machine works in order to use it, to a world where a machine is designed to know how you work. And this is exciting for all sorts of reasons, but not least of which is because I think it ends the digital divide. 2 billion people on Earth today cannot participate in society or economy because they do not know how machines work. And we are going to redesign fundamentally personal compute so that you are not left behind simply because you were never trained on a machine. Now, given that we are building brilliant machines, given that they are getting very cheap, and given that we are on a path to seamlessly integrate the hardware that powers them into our lives, now I can present to you one of the biggest ideas that I talk about today, a theory that I coined in 2021, the theory of unmetered intelligence. Unmetered intelligence is quite simply the idea that at some point, the amount of compute that we have collective access to will make our individual cognitive ability pale in comparison. It's the theory that says intelligence is actually a resource, much like water and foodstuffs and electricity and the internet, and that just like those resources, it will move from very scarce to very abundant. This is a big, very strange idea. And I will start by saying what unmetered intelligence is not. It is not universal brilliance. I am not arguing that everyone will be smart. In the same way that the internet does not promise we will all do research, in the same way that literacy does not promise someone reads, unmetered intelligence does not promise that someone will harness it. It simply promises that everyone will have access to it. And what we do with it will define our outcomes. Now, there is so much that can be said, and a lot of people today are going to show you ways to harness unmetered intelligence, but let me tell you how I think the world is going to adapt and evolve to the unbridling of this incredible resource. The first thing that happens is what I can best describe as the expansion of human potential. We are on the cusp right now of a remarkable moment that follows in a long, proud tradition of the human experience. What one person can do today is about 90% more than what one person could do in 1995. It's about 400% more than what one person could do in 1960, and it's about 1,000,000% more than what one person could do in 1800. On a GDP basis, we are ripping. We are so impressive in terms of our ability to create value, thanks in large part to technology. And that's exciting because it means we're going to create a lot more, and everyone on this call is going to have the opportunity to do more than your great-grandparents could have fathomed. And somehow it's not even the most exciting part. The most exciting part of unmetered intelligence as it relates to the human experience is staring, I think, at the point where you ask yourself, how is the human experience rate limited? Because we just aren't quite smart enough. And if you think about it long enough, you will arrive at scientific breakthroughs. There are 10,000 people studying the cure for cancer today. That's it. Why so few? Well, it turns out when we're born, a certain number of us qualify for the job. After that, a certain number of us want the job. After that, a certain number of us get into school for the job. And after that, a certain number of us get the job. It's a very, very narrow aperture. And so we could sit around and say, well, gosh, I hope they figure it out. There's 10,000 people. Or we could look for solutions. And one of the obvious solutions is, well, we could print more of these people. That would take hundreds or even thousands of years. AI presents an incredible breakthrough moment, an opportunity to ask ourselves not what would happen if we had 1,000,000 oncological researchers, but what would happen if we made 10,000 oncological researchers 10,000 times more productive. And that's happening right now. We discovered our first antibiotic recently because of AI. Our first antibiotic in 60 years. We split HIV out of DNA recently because of AI. In May this year, baby KJ received the first custom gene therapy to cure it of a previously immutable disease, thanks to, you guessed it, CRISPR and AI. And if that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what will. That is a thrilling glimpse into a world where we can massively reduce unnecessary suffering and increase joy. It is a glimpse into a world where our scientific breakthroughs are no longer theories, but rapid advancements. And the other thing that will happen as a result of this, I believe, is a massive deflationary event. And this is a very hot take. This is one of the things that people get most upset about when I talk about. In fact, someone recently asked me, when I talked about a world where the cost of goods and services plummet, they said, have you ever even been in a grocery store? And I know, I get it. The cost of eggs today, a carton of eggs, is more than it was 3 years ago. And what I have to remind everyone who is upset about the theory of deflation is that it has never been less expensive to buy a carton of eggs, basically, in human history. We have become so accustomed to the world getting better, faster, cheaper all the time that when something gets slightly more expensive, we are very upset. And what I have to remind people is that we have more discretionary income than our great-grandparents could have imagined, and that we live a life of incredible abundance for the most part in the developed world. And when people push on this, what I realize is there are 3 cases against deflation, and they are housing, healthcare, and education. And what I have to remind people is those 3 things are not expensive because we don't know how to solve them technologically. They're expensive because we made it illegal to do so. We policy these things into oblivion, into a deflationary environment. And the most exciting thing about AI right now is we get a chance. We get a chance to do 2 things. 1, prove that everything in the world can get as cheap as the LCD screen in front of you. You enjoy so many things in this life that your parents could not have enjoyed at such a cost that no one could have imagined because technology was allowed to make it less expensive. And we get to make lots of things that way. And then we get to turn around to our policymakers and we get to say, why can't everything be like this? And we have an incredible opportunity right now in a world where you can fly across the country for $70, but a trip to the emergency room might actually bankrupt you. Everyone is going to realize that technology can, in fact, massively reduce the cost of being alive and flourishing. And that is an incredible thing that we get to do right now, is put pressure on policymakers to allow this incredible technology to do to everything what it has done to so many commodities. And the last thing is time. Dean's talked about this. Tony's talked about this. Everyone is going to talk about this. But time and energy are your most critical assets. And my favorite theory of AI is its ability to make us more time rich. Graham Duncan describes young people as time billionaires, the theory that, in fact, they are richer than anyone else on Earth because they have more opportunity to do more things. And what I'm reminding people on this call is AI is going to present us an opportunity to actually ask ourselves, what do we want to do with our time? And my challenge to you all right now is to build a more deliberate relationship with your technology. Because I firmly believe that we are going to wake up at some point in the future, I don't know when, and ask ourselves, or get to ask ourselves, what do I want to do today? And I hope when that moment comes, we all know that the right answer is commune with friends and family, ideally outside, be it in places of worship, in town centers, in local places. And when we arrive at that place, I hope to God that we remember why we are on this earth. Now, given all this, the question is, how can you prepare? And again, a lot of people are going to show you tactically what you should do today. And I'm going to give you some of my principles for living in an AI-powered future. First, please anchor your mission, vision, and values. I started this talk by telling you my mission, and I say it to almost anyone who will listen to me because it reminds me of why I do what I do. And that's important because in a time when technology is constantly evolving, it is so easy to forget your mission. It is very easy right now in a world where we are selling adaptability to be a candle in the wind. And I'm challenging you to not be that. I am challenging you to be more certain than ever about your why. Your mission, vision, and values should be anchored. And also, you should adapt your ways and means. And this is a big ask for many of you because many of you have arrived at this place in life, a certain level of success because you are very good at a thing. And that thing has carried you a long way, and you want to continue to do that thing. And my challenge to you is, does that thing actually serve your mission, vision, and values? Are you actually advancing your life because of that thing, or have you found comfort in it? And to the extent that you are willing to adapt your ways and means, to the extent that you're willing to listen to people like Ali K. Miller, who are going to show you how much more productive you can get, if you are willing to do that, then you will be much closer to actually achieving your mission, vision, values. And this is going to be true for people and companies. You're going to see a massive K-curve, a divergence between companies that insist that they do a certain thing versus companies that insist that they solve a certain problem, however it needs to be solved. Then I would encourage you to learn how to learn. The most popular question I get asked by young people, and actually parents, is what should I study in college or what should my child study in college? And what they're asking is, how do I make a lot of money? That's what that question actually means. Now, I don't mind economic incentives at all. I want to help people make money. That's not an issue. The problem is, as the question is framed, my answer is actually terrible. It doesn't matter. There is no obvious answer to what you should study in order to maximize your economic outcome because the correlation between your major and your economic outcome is rapidly declining. In fact, 3 months ago, for the first time in our country's history, the wages for a college-educated person are now equivalent to wages for a non-college-educated person, which means that we are ungating economic access. And that's awesome. We should celebrate it. It also means that you should not go to college trying to optimize your economic outcome. You will not have success. So instead, what I say to young people is, one, remember, the purpose of college is probably to make mistakes you weren't comfortable making in front of your parents. To that end, you should go have a good time and ideally go to a school with a good football team, or at least something that you can celebrate. But also, please study something you love. Study something that you are fascinated by, such that the act of exploring that idea excites you, not because it will get you a better grade, not because it will get you a better job, but because you want to learn more about it. And in doing so, what you will teach yourself is the practice of mastery. You will learn what it feels like to learn well. And the idea that what you are learning may not matter to your future employer will be less concerning because your future employer probably cares more about your willingness and ability to learn other things anyways. And then lastly, design around things that AI cannot do. Now, everyone here is going to tell you all the things you should do with AI to make your life better, and I love that. You should do that. And lots of CEOs will ask me all the time, what should I do with AI? And what are the ways in which AI is going to change my business? Now, being non-obvious and a little counterculture and a counter-narrative, I'm going to stand here and tell you that the most interesting thing I think you can do after you've mastered the practices of some of this technology is consider the ways in which AI is not going to change your life. And having run this experiment hundreds of times with the global Fortune 5000, I have discovered and arrived at something with very high conviction, which is that I believe in a world where we are designing around the things that AI cannot do, such that we are building a moat around the technology. We are simply optimizing for humanistic qualities. Now, I arrived at this conclusion having done a bunch of research. I was studying brokerage roles. We quickly realized that no one picks their wealth manager anymore because they make them a lot of money. They pick their wealth manager because they trust them and they like them. We also discovered that no one picks their real estate agent because they get them a better price on a house. They pick their real estate agent, it turns out, because they like spending Saturday and Sunday with them. Go figure. Most people actually describe their favorite bartender not as being great at pouring drinks, but as being someone they enjoy hanging out with. Again, these services are quickly becoming places where we want community and friendship. And that's awesome. Now, I always assumed that it would be a brokerage function that would commoditize. And then something happened in my life that quite honestly changed how I saw a lot of this. My father is an oncologist. He's been practicing cancer medicine for about 38 years. Very recently, he won a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Breast Cancer Association of America for his contributions. And growing up, I should tell you, I always saw my dad as a scientist, as a brilliant man who was curing lives. And I could point to these incredible outcomes and draw a line between how brilliant he was and life-saving treatments. During his time practicing breast cancer, the survival rate for this disease went from about 35% to 90%, which is in and of itself something we should celebrate all the time as a testament to human achievement. We can and will do hard things to improve our lives. And I went to his award ceremony very excited to hear people talk about my dad, the brilliant scientist. I sat at a table in a gala room flanked by my wife and mother and sister, so excited to hear people talk about him and how smart he was. And just before he received his award, a patient of his came on stage. She spoke for 5 minutes. For the first 30 seconds, she described her patient outcome. She had survived breast cancer and gone on to live a long and fulfilling life, and now she was giving back to the community. And for the next 4.5 minutes, she talked about how my dad made her feel. She described getting a breast cancer diagnosis, the fear that came over her, and then the process of interviewing oncologists. She interviewed 3 oncologists, and they all provided her the same prognosis and the same treatment recommendation. And then she said 2 things I will never forget. She said she realized that the machine was now smarter than the doctor, that the science had progressed far enough that the machine could actually determine the next best action better than the doctor could. And then she said the thing I will never forget as long as I live, that the bedside manner is not a feature, it's the product. And that changed my life. I realized in that moment my dad was not important to the community because he was brilliant at this point. He was important now because he was kind and caring and courageous and compassionate. The same qualities I loved in him as a father, so too did his patients love in him. And I also realized that if medical oncology, which we have long exalted as the pinnacle of cognitive processing in medicine, could cognitively commoditize, then what role wouldn't? And I decided that as long as I lived, if someone asked, what should I get great at? What my father taught me is that soft skills, that humanistic qualities are actually measures of human achievement. And if you can get great at anything, get great at adaptability and curiosity and empathy and courage and wisdom and humor. And what I realized, moreover, is that AI is not going to necessarily incline us to be more human. It may actually require us to do so. That unmetered intelligence will cause cognitive commoditization to the extent that we may actually be forced to be more human, not less. And the last thing I will say is this: you must also now lead with optimism. There is a lot of pessimism in the world right now. There is a lot of fear. And what I have to remind everyone when they tell me that the world is a scary, bad place is that it is not evidentiary. It is actually true that right now we are overexposed to negative information and underexposed to positive information. And as much as I can prove to you that the world is in fact getting better, the guttural feeling that it is getting worse is overwhelming. And so I will remind you, find the good news. Find the good news and talk about it. There is so many reasons to be optimistic about the world we are building right now. And moreover, it is no longer a nicety. It is no longer a fun Sunday passing to talk about a world that could be better. It is a moral obligation to your children and their children. It is a moral obligation to describe a future that can be better such that we can actually build it. And my hope is that together we can describe a future that we want such that our children can live in one that is unimaginably better than the one we have today. Thanks so much.
All right. So good. Hey, I want to share. Was Zach amazing? He's in the back there. Let him hear it in the chat. He has a brand new baby at home, like right out of the oven, brand new baby, and he still jumped on a plane. He had other stuff to be here. And I want to share this with you. We saw so many amazing comments. And in the YouTube channel, I saw people say, hey, get us some tactics. Teach me something I've never learned before. Here's what I want to tell you. Trust us. This is something Tony and I have been doing collectively for 76 years. This is about a strategy over 3 days to anchor in lifelong change. How has the latest hack worked for you? You can go find the latest hack on YouTube. You're not using it. This is a process, and we have over 8 speakers here that each have their own strategy. They each have their own tactics, and it'll get more detailed as we go. This is about building lifelong change. If you know Tony and I, a big percentage of you have, you know we obsess on delivering exactly what you need. Even sometimes you might not realize it to the end. So just want to say thank you, Zach. I know you're going to race home to see his baby. And I'm really excited to introduce someone very special next. Igor Pagani. Igor is one of the top educators in the AI space and one of those early adopters who's already impacted millions of lives in the AI space training. I had the chance when I first met him, I had the chance to spend a day with him with my family in Europe, and he just blew my mind. And not just because of his depth of knowledge of AI, but how much he cares. He's gifted to take really complex things and make them simple. He's taught over 10,000 entrepreneurs, over 25 million views on his YouTube channel, and he's behind some of the world's most viewed tutorials on ChatGPT and MindJourney. Plus, he's lived in 6 countries, he speaks a whole bunch of languages, and he's just an all-around good guy. But what really hits home is that Igor had to figure this out on his own. And now his mission is to make sure nobody else has to go through the same struggle that he has. And even greater, he caught Tony and I's attention in such a big way. We were so impressed that we invited him to partner with us, and he did. So now we have joined forces, and Igor is our top AI educator. He's the guy that helps us lead. It's just so much fun. We have a quick little video, Igor, and then we'll bring him up.
My job is organizing the chaos that is AI.
Igor teaches people how to do things like build their own chatbots in 15 minutes and build custom GPTs. He's an AI educator. He's a tech enthusiast, video producer, self-taught coder, marketing expert, over 10 million views on his YouTube channel.
AI is an amplifier of what you already do. We digest the complexity and the madness that is generative AI into a format that people can easily consume.
I'm beyond excited to be part of the Advantage because I get to work with some of the best people in the industry and help everyone transition from the old world into this new era that is defined by AI.
Let's give it up for Mr. Igor Pagani. Thank you, Igor. Thank you.
All right. All right, welcome everybody. It is my pleasure to give you some more tactical things, actually. I know Dean set this up and said there's going to be a lot of tactical stuff as we move forward, but let me tell you, I actually have some things, some views on how the world used to be and how it is going to be moving forward for you right now. But I want to set this entire conversation up. Before we get into the concrete things that you can do today, I want to talk about how things changed and how they are changing, because they are. I mean, you all are aware, right? Every great leap in human history came with tools. It came with technology. Now, technology usually does the same thing. It multiplies your capabilities. So look back a little bit, okay? Stone tools, when we got those, what happened? People could work faster. The printing press could multiply ideas. Google, all of a sudden you had all of the world's knowledge available to you like this. Okay, so 3 years ago, for me,